Hi, my name is Sam Hawkins, and this is my speech on service dogs. Now, you may be wondering, what exactly is a service dog? A service dog is a dog trained specifically to assist a person who is disabled. They can often be identified by their work vests. However, not all service dogs wear work vests as they're not required to, so it's not an end-all be-all to whether something is a real service dog or not. Common service dog breeds include German Shepherds, Labradors, and Golden Retrievers. However, any dog can be a service dog so long as it is well trained and suitable for the job. One of the most common examples of a service dog you may have heard of is a seeing eye dog, also known as a guide dog. But there are many different reasons why someone might need a service dog. There are many types of service dogs, and they can help with so many different disabilities. Some examples would be hearing dogs, who can alert their owners to sounds around them, such as doorbells or smoke alarms. Mobility assistance dogs, who can provide their owners with stability. Diabetic alert dogs, who can alert their owners to changes in blood sugar and if it gets too high or too low. Seizure response dogs, who can assist their owners during or after a seizure. And allergy detection dogs, who are able to detect allergens and alert whenever they find them. Service dogs can help with mental illnesses such as OCD and PTSD, as well as physical disabilities. So service dogs are not limited to, say, blindness and deafness. They can also help with OCD, PTSD, anxiety attacks, panic disorders, things like that. I have personal experience with service dogs. My late grandfather had a service dog for over a decade, so basically my whole childhood. His service dog was a Yorkshire Terrier named Trigger, and he looks just like the one in the picture. He helped him with his diabetes and his heart problems, so he would alert him if his blood sugar got too low or too high, and would alert if he detected any symptoms of, say, a heart attack. He was trained to know that his vest meant he was on the job, so when he was wearing his vest, he was in a more serious mode, but when he was out of his vest, he was allowed to play and be basically a family pet. What do you need to know about service dogs? First and foremost, owners do not have to disclose their disability to you, and they're probably not going to want to. You shouldn't ask what somebody's service dog is for or what their disability is. It's seen as disrespectful and invasive. You should also not ask to pet a service dog. Petting and playing with a service dog might seem like a fun idea because in most people's minds, it's just a dog. However, we must remember that these are working animals first and foremost, and petting and playing with a service dog could distract them from their owner's needs, which is an annoyance at best and at worst could be dangerous. Service dogs have several legal protections under several different laws, the most notable being the American Disability Act. Service dogs are allowed to go anywhere their owners can go, such as movie theaters, restaurants, things like that. Service dog owners also do not have to share their medical history or disability for their service dog to be allowed somewhere. So they only have to prove that their service dog can do the services that they say that it can do. That is the only thing that they have to demonstrate. If a business refuses to let in a service dog, they are at risk to be sued for discrimination for disabilities. Many people think that to train a service dog, you need thousands and thousands of dollars and access to some professional fancy service dog training service. But that's just not true. Disabled people have the right to train their service dogs themselves, and often do. So long as your service dog is trained to do the things that it needs to do, it's perfectly fine to train your service dog at home. Under the American Disability Act, a dog must be fully trained in order to be allowed in public spaces, however. So dogs in training don't automatically have the same protections as a fully trained service dog, and may not be allowed everywhere that a fully trained service dog is allowed to be in. However, it does vary based on state and local laws. You may have heard of a thing called an emotional support animal, and you may have thought, isn't that the same thing as a service dog? What's the difference? They are definitely not the same. A service dog is specially trained for an owner with a disability. Service dogs are able to perform tasks to help their owners. Emotional support dogs act as companions for their owners and as comfort animals. rather than specialized helpers. Service dogs may be able to provide the same emotional support that an emotional support dog can, but emotional support dogs cannot provide the same services that a service dog can. Emotional support dogs also don't have the same protections under the ADA, which just means that they might not be able to go into the same public spaces that a service dog is able to. However, they do still have protections under the Fair Housing Act and are allowed on airlines with their owners. In conclusion, service dogs can be used for many disabilities, not just physical. There are many mental illnesses and different types of disabilities that a service dog could be used for. You should always be respectful of owners and not try to pet or distract their service dogs, or ask about their disabilities or be invasive. Service dogs provide a necessary aid to many people and make their day-to-day lives easier and more accessible. And that's all I have for you today on service dogs. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something new.